Hello, I'm Eva, and you're listening to Connected with Eva, the podcast on the human connection. Ella is a model, entrepreneur, and the founder of a boutique modeling agency with a Pilates studio on the way. Known for her eye for talent and wellness, she's building a space where beauty, discipline, and self-empowerment come together. If you enjoy it, please subscribe. I wanted to speak to people because it's fun. And everybody's like everybody does really cool things. You have a modeling agency, you model, you're starting a Pilates studio. It's really inspiring to connect with inspiring people.
Yeah, that's true. You learn a lot as well.
Actually, last week's episode, maybe, we were talking about modeling, how models, a lot of the time, are not just models. There's so many other things. And
that is so true.
And I keep looking at your profile. I'm like, she's so amazing. She's so inspiring.
Oh, you're too nice, babe.
No, but how do you find the time to do all these incredible things and to model?
To be fair, I have asked for help now for the modeling agency. I can't do it on my own, especially the time difference is just a lot. So I have a staff, my right person, and she's doing most of it, but I'm just sort of like managing, overseeing what everything is doing. And then the Pilates has overtaken my life now. It's been manic, but I realized I actually quite like the busyness. I guess one thing that I realized when I'm just doing modeling, it's a lot of weight, and whether it's castings or on the shoots, it's a lot of weight. And I don't know if I have ADHD or something, but I just need to be doing something. So in a way, having these two stuff on the side makes me busy. And I like it. I really like it. I love the hustle. I genuinely enjoy it. So I think that really helps.
Well, it's true because when you model, sometimes you're working, right? But sometimes it doesn't feel like that. The brain really needs to keep busy, otherwise you're falling behind.
That is so true.
You need to exercise the brain, and also you need to create things and move forward as a human being. But what first of all, for the modeling agency, what made you start it?
I started it by accident. I've been having models messaging me. Sometimes I don't know them. They're sometimes strangers. Some of them I knew from back home. But there was one instance where model messaged me from the Philippines. We haven't really met. And then she went to London, and then she was really eager to have coffee and meet. And I'm more of an introvert, really. So I don't usually say yes to it. But because she was so perseverant, and I was like, okay, sure, you know what, I'll meet her. And then, she was telling me what she did, asking me advice. And I realized I know so much. The industry in London teaches you a lot, even just the little things like what to wear in castings, how you should you socialize on set. It's all those little things that make you a memorable model. And so after that conversation with her, I realized, okay, maybe this is a sign. It's not the first time that someone asked me what to do, and I've done the whole process myself. So I was like, okay, I think I'll just do it, but specifically for Filipino models, because I want to see more Filipino models as well in the industry. And I know the struggle of not just the visa. The visa is a big part of it, but also like financial and setting up yourself in a new country. It's not just finding an accommodation. It's more than that. And yeah, that was really the start of it.
It seems to be growing and doing well, and it's so nice that you can create space for people who don't know necessarily about the industry in London.
Where do you even start? There's no like book of a model, how to do modeling abroad. There's nothing. So it's all just by experience, really.
What do you do kind of like day to day, or, the person you're working with now more with the models?
She does the hardest job, which in my opinion is the hardest job, where she reaches out to agency constantly, presenting the models constantly. And I can't do that every day. That's why I needed her help. I mostly do scouting. I plan shoots in the Philippines because they're all based in the Philippines. I sort of like organize things, and then she helps me organize by messaging these people. I do the decision whether is this agency good for this person? I also reach out to people that I know, because at the end of the day, I don't just want to sign models to any kind of agency. I want to make sure they're a working model. And I also want to make sure that these agencies are legitimate, because there's so many people who wants to be a model these days, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be agencies that are just like not legit. So in that sense, I bring the my experience in the industry and my staff, Michaela. I love her to bits. She's amazing. She brings the admin stuff. We work well together. We're a good team, so I'm happy with that.
And okay, so I think this question will be popular because you have an agency. What in a model draws you immediately when you see them, like, whether it's in person or, in a photo?
It's not just the measurements, it's not just the height. The look is another thing. I also want to make sure that they have this specific Filipina look that I want to showcase. And then on top of that, we do a one-on-one interview with them, and I want to see the personality. I want to work with someone who has this hunger to learn, hunger to be in the fashion industry, that drive, that motivation. It's really difficult as a mother agency to just, we just only do probably 5% of the work, and 95% of the work is really from the model themselves. If they don't have that hunger, that eagerness to actually do well in this industry, it's a tough industry as well. They're not gonna last. For me, the priority is their personality. What can they offer more than just a model, especially that the industry nowadays is looking for that kind of model now. We're not just a canvas anymore. You gotta show more. You gotta show what hobbies you do, what, I don't know, art, or are you a musician, or this or that. The more the merrier. And at the same time, it would also help you as a model to not go insane. You gotta do something. You can't just be a model these days.
There are a lot of things that are like, okay, so apart from modeling, what else do you do, in the casting call? Like, do you have any
Mm.
hobbies that are, a secret talent? Or I'm like,
Mm.
I don't really have any secret talents now. When did you start modeling, and what was your experience when you started modeling at the beginning?
So I started pretty late. I think I started about, I think I'd say 24. I finished uni. I didn't know what to do. I just finished my degree because, as an Asian family, it's just, you just gotta finish it. And then a friend of mine told me this is back in Manila. He told me, oh, there's a modeling competition in Manila. You should try. I was like, okay, sure, I'll give it a try. I won the competition, and that really started my career in Manila. So I was modeling Manila for 2 years, and then later on, I got an opportunity to try London market. And this was during the pandemic. So because the pandemic, nothing was happening, especially in the Philippines. Everyone was like stuck, and I just felt like so restless. London was like still accepting some models. This was around October. I was like, sure, you know what? I'll just give it a go. I'll just try it and see how it goes. So I flew to London October 2020. I remember a week after they announced second lockdown, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm here for work. What's gonna happen?" But you know what? It was all right. I was still working, and initially I was just supposed to be here for 3 months, and 3 months now became 5 years. So yeah, now I call the city my home.
It's amazing, especially to start in London during lockdown. I wasn't here during lockdown, but in my mind, it was like, there's no work during lockdown. Everyone's, uh, all the models are doing something else right now. And what was, in terms of when you started modeling, what did you see? Were you surprised by anything? What did you like? What did you dislike?
I like how expressive it is. While I was in uni, I was doing pageantry. I don't know if you know, like beauty queens, all the glamorous makeup and stuff and gowns, and so yeah, and that was really big in the Philippines, and I did that for about, I'd say, 7 years. Yeah, did that for 7 years, and I got sick of it eventually because it was just a toxic environment. So when I started modeling, I was like, wow, this is a a breath of fresh air. There was no feeling of like I need to mold into a specific look, into a specific walk, or a specific mannerism or how I present myself, because the pageantry is like, oh, you should look a specific way, or you should dress a specific way, you should be more womanly, act womanly. Whereas modeling, it's just, let's go crazy, let's do this crazy makeup, let's do this crazy hair. Oh, that's your style. We love it. So yeah, that's what I really enjoyed at first. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize I had this passion. I had this like creative side in me that really just drove me into doing it for about 7 years now. Initially, my family was also like, are you sure you're doing that? Maybe that's just, a hobby or something like that. Yeah, now I'm proud to say it's a full-time job, and I'm really glad I discovered this industry by accident, and I would have not have it the other way around.
The thing with families, oh, are you sure it's not a hobby? I swear, every time I message my dad or someone, they're like, do you have work? Do you have work? Because it's not, you know what I mean? So it's not an actual full-time job that has a contract, tells you're working 9 to 5. It's almost like it's such a strange concept for them that this could be your job. Is your family more accepting of it now? In a way where it's like, okay, I guess it's a normal thing because you seem to earn money from it, etc., etc.
I think so. There was still a time. So I have a degree in engineering. And so my dad would still be like, when I was already in London, I guess my first 2 years, he would be like, don't you want to try, use your degree there? Maybe take the board exam or something. And I'd be like, Dad, no, I'm actually working now, and then it took a while, but now I think they fully accepted, okay, she's fine. She's all right. She can do it.
That's the thing with the creative industry, isn't it? Where people find it quite strange as a concept. Also, at longevity, there was someone who asked me, so what are you going to do after modeling? Not even realizing, I guess, that there isn't, technically you can model forever because there's different markets, ages, then you're modeling different things for different brands. And I think, especially when you start creating an agency and other things as well, because you have that creative bug once you start being self-employed, I guess. You have that maybe entrepreneurial bug, and you're thinking of all these ways to maybe help people or connect with people or do other things, like you say, when you're bored because you're you're on a shoot. I had a shoot a month ago. It was an 8-hour shoot and I had about 15 minutes of work. The environment opens up your vision more.
That's true. We're very lucky in that sense because,
Yeah.
we're not restricted by the 9 to 5. In that 8-hour shoot, there's so many things that you could have done, and you could have like a side project as well. My partner keeps saying I'm so lucky with the freedom I have. And I'm like, yeah, that's a good bit. You also don't know the bad bit. And I keep telling people it's a different lifestyle, because you never know when you're not working, that anxiety as well.
I organize a holiday and then I'm consciously thinking I might have to cancel that. I did a shoot 4 years ago where one of the male models had abandoned his honeymoon because it was a very good job. So he took his wife and then they continued the honeymoon. That was in Portugal at the time. After. And that's the industry. And people sometimes struggle to understand that. I mean, I struggle to understand it myself, but I think I'm getting actually better with it.
The amount of times like I've had like breakdowns before because I'm like, oh, I'm not working. Am I not worthy? Like it just gets into your mind, but there's nothing wrong. It's just, you just got to keep yourself distracted for it, and yeah, that's why it really helps to have something else to be doing.
You say, yeah, sure, I'd do something, but it has to be something you're passionate about. It has to be something you really enjoy, and it might take a certain period of time to figure out what that is. Just listen to yourself and also observe what you enjoy. Like, do you like talking to people when you go to a shoot? And the thing with us, we work with so many different people. We meet so many interesting people. And I realized, I guess I liked that. And even when me and you met at the hair show, Again, that was a lovely experience. And there were so many lovely people there and everyone doing different things. And so, yeah, I guess there are good sides and there are bad sides. When did you come up with the idea for the Pilates studio?
I came from my holiday in the Philippines. I just, every time I leave the Philippines, I leave home, and come back to London, I feel like I'm being robbed of this, like, why am I in the city? But at the same time, I would wake up and tell myself, oh, you're here for work, but it's nice there. I came back here thinking or feeling like I want to do something. I want to build something. And initially, I thought it was going to be a photography studio because I was like, okay, I'm in the fashion industry. I could probably run a photography studio. I would absolutely love that. And then I started looking for places and checking commercial leases. And then I realized the logical side of me is saying that I'm not so sure how often a photography studio would book in London nowadays because there's loads of it now. But I realized I think a reformer Pilates could actually earn more. And I've been doing reformer Pilates, for 2 years now. So I was like, actually, maybe I just do reformer Pilates instead. And so I shared this idea to my partner. My partner, by the way, is like he's more of the brains, the finance guy. He has that background. I tell people, yeah, he's the brain, I'm the beauty. But he's more of the pragmatic person, more logical person. And I've been telling him business plans for ages, and I would always get rejected. And I was so surprised when he said, oh, actually, that is a good idea. I'm looking for a business to invest and I'm happy to be one of your investors. Yeah, I was like, okay, if he says yes to this, which is a rare first time experience, I think I'm doing something right here. So I got to work and started doing a business plan, financial plan, started, researching what steps I should do, started looking for places, looking for suppliers. And yeah, that's pretty much the story of how I started this.
It's happening quickly, but that's so amazing because it just shows a lot of initiative. It's easy to have an idea, and then a lot of people capitalize when they have an idea. That's the end of it. Just the idea. So nothing ever happens. What do you feel when you have an idea and you're like, I like this. I want to do this.
I'd say it's more of like I feel restless. It's like suddenly ideas are flowing through and I'm just like, right, I got to do something about it. I just can't sit and watch and have someone just hand it to me. I'm really a doer. I don't know how I got that attitude. Maybe it's my engineering background of being a problem solver. You find things like even on set as well, like if someone's having an issue, I'd be like, okay, can I help? Because we're all in a team at the end of the day, and I don't want to just like sit pretty here and just wait for you guys to solve things. In a way, yeah, when I have an idea, I'm really much of a doer, and I see that difference with my partner even in just little things. Like he's more of theories. He really wants to learn more and loves to learn theories. Like he's the intelligent one. Like I'm more of like I want to learn by doing. And I also learn by watching people. So yeah, I'd say yeah, I'm just really less passive, more of a
You
doer.
can't learn without experiencing life, without doing, without going in different surroundings, environments that are uncomfortable. The only way to stop being afraid is to actually go and do it. It's easy to talk, but actually, I used to be such a big overthinker. I used to paralyze myself with my thoughts. So I am speaking from experience. It is possible. It is possible because once you start doing, it actually becomes addictive and you want to do more. Doesn't it? It becomes so freeing.
At the same time, you don't really grow if you don't go out of your comfort zone.
You find out you have this control over what happens to you. Yeah, sometimes maybe certain things won't work out, etc. But then you learn. You always learn something. Good thing, bad thing. It's almost like touching the burning stove, oh, that I don't like that. And you wouldn't know if you if you didn't touch it, if you didn't burn it. Yeah, but that's why children are so amazing, because you go do, oh, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, I like this. Let's do more of this. Let's play more of this game. We as adults stop playing. We become very rigid.
We become so fearful of things, or we become suddenly conscious of like, oh, maybe it's embarrassing to do this, or it'll probably cause me shame. But as kids are just so innocent. Oh, to be a kid again. They're just so innocent that they're like, they don't care what people think. They don't know the idea of fear yet, and it makes them experience things. This reminds me of like me trying skiing as an adult. And I wish I tried it as a kid. I started learning it probably 2 years ago, and it took me a while to get it. The big thing that keeps stopping me from learning is the fear of like, oh, I think I'm gonna fall off the cliff. I'm gonna fall off the mountain, but you're not actually gonna fall. You're fine. Just ski.
Children play because that's
Yeah.
how they explore. That's how they learn. That's how they find out about the world, about people. We as adults, we stop exploring. And actually, you should never stop learning. Life is all about learning until the end. You should always be learning. There are a lot of people who kind of close off themselves, and even I with certain things. For example, swimming. I remember when I was little, I would swim. I don't care. There's seaweed. I don't care. I'm swimming. Now as an adult, I was like I don't want to go in the water because there's things in it. You can't tell yourself, listen, if I just stay in my comfort zone, my life will be the same forever. Nothing's ever going to change. And that's quite scary. That alone should push people to go out there and do things.
It reminds me of Severance. I don't know if you watched Severance. Basically, oh, you should definitely watch it. It's a good show. When you said if nothing changes, it's scary, it's basically that. They're basically just every day in, day out, just coming into the office, work, come out, same thing happens. Imagine that routine of yourself just happening every single day. That thought is just scary. The show doesn't go that way, It's just the first bit of the show and then eventually gets crazier, but yeah.
I mean, I'm realizing this more now because I'm doing things more now, and I'm seeing the difference in myself between before me and now me. I'm also starting to kind of realize more the, living in the moment thing. Wait, actually living in the moment, where even if you're on a boring journey on a train or something, this is the moment you're giving. This is you're given. This is the moment you have. You should enjoy it because it's not a secondary moment. This is your life at the moment. You're on that train. So you should really make the most of that. No moments are secondary. I know we treat life sometimes. Okay, so, I have this boring thing I need to do. And we push this situation or event or whatever it is. And no, it's something that's not important. I don't want to do it. I don't feel good about it. It's a secondary thing. The way we think about things changes our perspective on life altogether. I guess I also find you so inspiring
Absolutely.
because you're doing so many things and not just, thinking about them. You're actually doing them, which is so refreshing to see and so inspiring.
This came from also women who I've met, over the years where, when I was like feeling lost and really don't know what to do next, people either in my life, women in my life would tell me, for example, my boyfriend's mother, she was really helpful. I keep remembering her advice at that point in my life where she said, start by empowering yourself with little stuff. And that starts with doing things that you can control. And I started, doing hobbies and slowly learning what I want and slowly learning what I'm capable of. I went to different networking events and I met really amazing women founders. that in itself is just like, wow, if she can do this, I can absolutely do this as well. I'm glad that there's social media as well, because you see different stories as well of other women founders. And it's just inspiring because, we grew up in a society where businessmen are just, man, basically, and women just stay at the house. I'm not like that. I don't want to be in the house. I grew up, came here and realized I actually just I want to work. I want to be, I want to work until I can't work, physically can't work anymore. I enjoy it. And modeling has given me that opportunity, that freedom to, you mentioned like reflect for ourselves, find our identity, because we have that so much time to kill. Really, it started with that, but I'm so glad that we have that freedom to do that, because at least we're doing it before our 30s, before our 40s, and by that age we'll be like, okay, we exactly know what to do, and we want to, whatever it is that you want to pursue, it's something that you're so sure of, because we've had that freedom to really think about it and be creative. And I guess what I'm saying is that I owe it to other women as well who have shared their story online or I've seen in my life. I would have not have the courage to do what I'm doing either. And I hope by also sharing my story, it would be the same for the other women and, younger generation as well.
What would you tell someone who is afraid to take a leap of faith?
Fear is really different from one person to another. We tackle it differently as well. I don't want to say something cliche, because I think all the stuff being said in a cliche manner is so easy to say, but it's so freaking hard to do. I'd say fear is happening because you don't know much of the situation. I would advise someone who is fearful of whatever situation he or she is facing is that it helps if you know more of the situation. So be knowledgeable, or try to learn more about whatever that situation is. For example, you're fearful of running a business or jumping into a new business venture. Well, do your research, feed your mind of whatever information you can. And from that information that you've learned, see, is it still something doable? Is it still impossible? Then maybe it's less fearful now because you're more knowledgeable about the situation. And it goes in other situations too, even like, going to a relationship or committing to a relationship, or I don't know, what else? Having a kid, I guess. It's really just natural to be fearful, but it helps to overcome that fear if you're more knowledgeable about that situation. So I'd say, yeah, start with that.
And also, that's something that people can easily implement. Be more knowledgeable. And I would say, don't jump off the roof. If you try to do something that's so out of reach, then your body will automatically shut down because it's too alien of a situation. So start small.